Welcome to another episode of Exercise of the Week. This week I want to show you a great full body exercise that is amazing for increasing the strength in your shoulder joint as well as building core stability. It's called a Turkish getup. So as usual, I'm going to show you the move. I'll also show you a few modifications because on this one it requires quite a bit of mobility to do the full version. So a lot of times with clients, I'll start them off with a modified version and we'll work on their mobility. And then as that improves, we'll get into the full version. So with a weight overhead, step your opposite leg back into a lunge and drop your knee all the way down. Then place your hand on the ground so it makes like a tripod, and then bring your back leg to the front and then lay all the way back, keeping the weight straight up in the air. Then you come up onto your forearm, then your hand. You take that leg back to the back, stand up straight, and then stand back up. So make sure you're keeping that arm straight up in the air as you're tipping over and you're laying back, as well as when you're getting back up. It should be a heavy enough weight that you can't hold it out to the side. Now as well, keep in mind that you want to make sure you're nice and tall in the torso and you're not tipped over. If the weight's kind of heavy, the tendency is to kind of compensate and tip over. Now, if you have a hard time getting the leg through, either as you're going down or as you're going up, you can do the modified version. Here, I call this one part A, where you're just doing the backwards lunge and planting the hand down into the tripod. You're still going to get a lot of shoulder joint strengthening happening with this modified version. The other thing I like to do is the sit-up part of the Turkish getup. So in that one, you're just coming up onto the forearm and then laying back down. So this is a great way to work the core as well. And again, we just want to make sure that arm is straight up in the air throughout the move. I like to keep my eyes on it throughout the move just to ensure that I know where it's at all times so it doesn't get away from me. And then in the meantime, you can work on the mobility so you can get that leg through on the lunge. Once you can do that, you can do the full version. So that was the Turkish getup exercise. So as you can see, it works pretty much all the muscles in your body. Again, it's really great for building that stability through the shoulder. So strengthening like your rotator cuff muscles, which is really important for, I find, if you're falling or anything like that. The stronger you can have that shoulder joint, the less likely we are to dislocate or injure our shoulder. So some few things to keep in mind as you're doing it is, one is you want to think keeping that arm straight up in the air throughout the move. As you tip over, I find people have a tendency to let the weight come forward. And if you're using a light enough weight, you can get away with holding it here. So we want to be using a heavy enough weight that if it's not straight up in the air, if it's forward or if it's back, you're going to lose that weight. If you're not used to the move starting out though, and you want to go a little lighter just to kind of get used to the movement, feel free. Once you get used to it though, make sure you're trying to tax yourself with that weight, or else we're not going to actually strengthen that shoulder joint the way we're supposed to. Now the other thing to keep in mind is, again, if you have a hard time transitioning from that kneeling lunge to the laying down, or from the sitting up to the kneeling lunge, then break it down into those two parts and work on your hip mobility a little bit, and then you should find that you're able to do it down the road. You can still get lots of benefits from doing the part A and the part B without doing the full version. Hope you enjoyed. See you on the next episode of Exercise of the Week.